I'm Argaman, and I'm a PhD student being mentored by both Yara Sharon and Galitio Bell. So, we know that compared to being alone, sharing an experience with another person can have an effect on our emotions. Here we come to explore how virtual shared experience affects enjoyment. So, we ask participants to listen to audio clips and to rate their enjoyment after each clip. Those audios were of two funny contents, knock-knock jokes and a live stand-up. And the participants were of three presence groups: friends on Zoom, solo on Zoom, and solo without Zoom. Okay, so the y-axis is the enjoyment, the three left bars are of knock-knock, and the three right bars are of stand-up. And we see that when listening to the knock-knock jokes, friends enjoyed more than the solo no Zoom participants. But when listening to the stand-ups, friends enjoyed less. Now, this is quite a new finding, as until now studies have shown that when sharing an experience with a close other like a friend, it can make you feel more positive toward a positive stimulus, and it can also make you feel less negative toward a negative stimulus. But here we see a positive stimulus, a stand-up, leading to less positive emotions. So we wanted to dig into this contents to try and understand what might have led to this opposite shared experience effect. And after three experiments designed especially to characterize the contents, we failed to find any significant differences. Then I remembered that every one of my friends and colleagues that listened to the audios told me the same thing. I didn't expect to enjoy this much of the knock-knock joke. So the case might be that our audios didn't meet the participants' expectations. To test this hypothesis, we asked new participants to rate how much they expect to enjoy those contents. And we see that overall, people expect to enjoy stand-up more than they expect to enjoy knock-knock jokes. Now, then as we wanted to test how surprised were our participants that actually listened to the audios, we calculated an expectation gap score for each of study one participants. And this was done by subtracting the true average expected enjoyment you see here from the true real enjoyment. So now the y-axis is the expectation gap, meaning that anything above the middle is a good surprise and anything below the middle is a bad surprise. And we see that overall, all participants were pleasantly surprised from our choice of knock-knock jokes, but were disappointed from the stand-ups. But we see that no matter the direction of surprise, being with a friend amplified the violation of expectation. Now, in our study, only friends participants got the benefit of seeing how another person feels about the audios. I mean, this gives us the notion that maybe something about seeing our friend's reaction and seeing his facial expressions make us feel more certain that indeed we are experiencing a violation of expectations. Now, as we had two groups of participants on Zoom, we take a look at their facial expression. So using OpenFace Toolkit, we extracted the intensity of facial muscle movement, and we analyzed the intensity of happy facial expression. So now the y-axis is the intensity, and we see that when listening to the knock-knock jokes, friends not only enjoyed more, but they also expressed more intense, happy facial expressions. However, when listening to the stand-up, although friends enjoyed less, they expressed more. Now, when we ask participants to listen to the same audio, but this time with eyes closed, we see no differences between being alone and being with a friend. The next thing we wanted to see is if friends just express more because of sharing this experience, or if they are expressing in synchronization. To test this, we built null hypotheses, null distributions for the two contents. Those null distributions represent the synchronization of random dyads of friends participants. And we see that compared to random dyads, friends indeed are more synchronized in their facial expressions. And the last thing we wanted to see if there is a relation between how much friends enjoy the clip to how much they synced in their facial expression. And the answer is yes. The more friends were synchronized in their happy facial expression, the more they enjoyed the audio clip. So let's sum it up. Okay, so we got a content-dependent shared experience effect on enjoyment. Then we saw that we come to those contents with different expectations, and when those are violated, being with a friend amplify this feeling. Then we saw that friends express more intense happy facial expressions regardless of how much they enjoyed. And we also saw that friends were syncing in their facial expressions, and the more they synced, the more they enjoyed. Overall, our results suggest that we see others' facial expressions as valid information about the environment, but we also use facial expressions to communicate and in a way that might help us to connect with others. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Argaman. There are not enough clapping icons to share right now, but that was a fantastic talk, very engaging, and everybody loves a knock-knock joke. So thank you for this really interesting new paradigm. I'm going to go and read the paper when and if it is out. I'm going to turn you over to the experts. Does anybody want to jump in directly? Anybody? While you guys are deciding,
I feel that there's people here are experts on the but I really loved the way, like, being taken on the journey with you on how you really tried to get at this unexpected finding. It was very, it was great to walk along. So that was my comment on the presentation, which I thought was really fabulous. And then I wondered about the lag. So I don't know much about lags in mimicry in Zoom versus real life, or I think of neurophysiology where 2 seconds is very long. So I was just wondering if you had any comments on that. But I do want to, there might be much more deeply interesting questions around facial mimicry from experts who are here in the room.
No, that's amazing. Go ahead, Argaman.
Yeah, I'm going to have a quick answer, because we just kind of, read the papers and saw what other people felt there is a legitimate lag. And we thought, as we are not very interested in who was the leader and who followed in this interaction, we thought that 2 seconds were going to really capture the shared experience in where I can see my friend on Zoom and I can engage with them, and that's it.
I mean, I think it's a big issue. We've just done a large scale study with Zoom interfaces with 8 participants, doing a mirror game via Zoom, so a non-verbal interaction, and figuring out what the right window is, just not only just in general if you were interacting in live, but over this noisy data stream. It's really complicated. So one thing that we've started doing is some DTW analysis, which just gives you a little bit more wiggle room looking at those time courses. So if you'd like some more information, I think anybody who's working on Zoom who's watching this, we've been trying to figure this issue out so we can join together and find the solutions together. So if you'd like some feedback on that, I'd be happy to message with you, but it is one option beyond just deciding on a given lag. And I think that this issue of lag is relevant to anybody working in coordination or synchronization, either online or offline, in a lab, at home, in an ecological setting, depending on which technique you're using, which measure you're interested in. I also think that we've seen that sometimes you want to allow for a little bit more wiggle room, either online or offline. So thank you for your talk. Thank you, Suzanne, for that great input. Is there anybody else who would like to say anything to Argaman? Bridget?
Just a quick comment that I think that's really great. It's a great study, and I think that it's really good we don't think about function enough in terms of what the facial expressions are actually doing within these social interactions. And so I think that what you're doing there is a really nice combination of lots of different things, trying to understand how these smiles are actually being used. So I think it's great.
And that positive note is a great way for us to end the session. Argaman, unless you have questions for any of the experts.
No, thank you very much. And I will contact you about the live.
Absolutely.